perspectives.
Okay, hi girls. Well, my presentation is about gardening, and it's a pleasure to me to talk about this because gardening is one of my favorite hobbies. So, okay, I will start. Well, I will start with an introduction. Okay, gardening is an activity that involves growing, harvesting, watering, and caring about plants, such as flowers, herbs, or vegetables. Although we don't notice it, gardening is an activity that is part of our daily life, since thanks to the farmers who are professionals in gardening, we have our daily supply of fruits and vegetables. But gardening can also be a great hobby and a great relaxing activity. Okay, I will focus my presentation in these three main ideas, which are first, my personal experience gardening, despite I don't have a green thumb. Then I'll talk about why gardening is so important. And lastly, I will explain why, in my opinion, you should add gardening to your hobby list. Okay, so first, my personal experience. Well, I've always liked being in my garden with my plants since I was a child. When I was a little girl, I used to go out to the garden with my grandma to water the plants, to clean the garden from bad weeds. I remember we used to sing to the flowers. I remember she taught me a lot of things. For example, how to take care of the plants in the garden. But I think maybe when I was a child, I didn't appreciate so much the time I spent in the garden. But now that I've grown up, I'm able to feel the happiness and calm that the garden and the plants can give to a person. Um, Nowadays, I'm the one who takes care of the garden here in my house, and I'm the one who is always so interested in getting a new plant. Unfortunately, I wasn't blessed with a very green thumb. I have tried many times to have a vegetable garden, but I haven't got it yet. um, I have tried to plant very different types of flowers too, but as I said before, I think I don't have a green thumb, so they always die. So sad. But that hasn't discouraged me yet. I know I need to be patient. I'll keep trying and I'll keep planting, and I know one day I will be able to grow all the plants I want. Okay, now why gardening is so important. Well, gardening is not only a hobby. Gardening is it's an activity that helps so much to the environment. Even though you have a small garden with small plants, it has very big benefits. For example, the air around you will be more purified. It will help the conservation of animals such as birds, bees, butterflies. Um, a garden also helps mitigate heat, and also it will help you to be in a better mood, which is so great. Another important thing of gardening is if one day you want to have your own vegetable garden, it's important for you to know how to take care of the different vegetable plants because all the plants require different care. And if you want your plants to grow, you need to learn all the processes. But thank God, we have almost all the information on the internet about all we need to know to take care of our garden and the importance of having healthy plants. I think if we have a healthy garden, our lives will be healthier and our environment too. Well, lastly, why you should add gardening to your hobby list? Well, for some people, maybe gardening is a lady's hobby, but that is a ridiculous stereotype. Gardening is for everyone. I consider gardening as one of the most satisfying hobbies, and it's also a great opportunity to be in contact with nature. For me, it's so satisfying taking a baby plant in my hands and feeling its roots and smelling the earth. That's so beautiful. And then you can give the plant a new little home, which can be a pot, for example. Over time, you'll see how your little plant will become bigger and bigger. And if you planted a fruit tree, you will see how it will start flowering and give its first fruits. Um, I think it's so satisfying when you see a big tree and you say, I planted that tree, and it's so amazing how much it has grown. So that's why I think planting a tree is something you have to do at least once in your life. But planting little plants and taking care of them is a beautiful process too. It could be difficult sometimes. I really know about that. But actually, it's an activity that has more pros than cons. It will help you to be patient and careful. And you can see closely how one of the most beautiful processes of nature is. Well, so in conclusion, gardening is more than just a hobby. I think gardening for me, it has been a therapy. Gardening is a job and a way to have a better environment and a better world. Everyone can enjoy gardening. It's a natural activity that can be done in family or alone. Even if you don't have a green thumb, as me, for example, I know with patience and perseverance, you can have a beautiful garden. I think gardening is like a gift from nature to us humans because it's an opportunity to be part of a lot of natural processes. And well, that's all. Thanks for your attention, girls. Um, I will stop sharing my screen. Okay. If you have comments or questions, I will hear you.
Okay, Odalis, I have a question for you. Are there any plants that remind you someone?
Mm, yes. I have a plant in my garden. Actually, it's a tree. Um, its name is white rosehip. It's a flower. It's a little flower, which is white. But it's a little flower, so beautiful, and it smells so good. It has a very good perfume, natural perfume. And that plant remind me of my childhood and my grandmother. I remember when I was a little girl, we used to go out to the garden to with my grandma to pick up the petals of that flowers because she used to use the petals for a medicine. I don't remember, but I still have that tree. But that plant reminds me of a good time in my childhood. Another question?
I have a question, Odalis.
Mhm.
Have you ever planted a tree?
Yes, I have planted some trees, but the last tree I planted, I remember, well, it was 2 years ago that I get the tree. It was a little tree, like very little. It is a pine tree. um, but now it's more. It's taller, but it's still small. Because as I said, I don't have a green thumb, so that's why I think it hasn't grown yet. But I hope maybe in a year it is already taller. I really hope so. But its name, I give the tree a name. Its name is Pina. It's a pine tree, but its name is Pina. I don't know why, but that is its name. Okay. Mm.
And do you prefer planting ornamental plants or fruital plants?
Mm. Well, I love all the plants. Okay, I love nature. But I think right now I prefer ornamental plants, because I think they're easier to care more than vegetable plants or something, because vegetable plants, they require so much cares and more difficult cares. They need a lot of attention, and they're like babies. And they can die easily. So I would love to have a vegetable garden. I would love to. I have tried that many times, but it's so hard. They require so much, and I I still don't have that level of patience. But I'm working on it. But I prefer ornamental plants, to sum up. Okay. Another comments, or that's all? Okay, that's all. Well, thank you, girls.